So today we got a brand new trailer for Vanguard Season 4, and it was mainly Warzone to be completely honest, but hey, we got about 6 seconds worth of zombies footage. Yep, 6 seconds of the new Numa map. That's cool. Regardless, though, we're still going to talk about those 6 seconds because there's actually surprisingly a lot of things that we saw in there that we could talk about. And because of that, let's not waste any time and actually jump right into these very long 6 seconds worth of footage. So the first thing we see of the map is an overhead of the main hut area. Normally that is spawn, and there's a couple things you noticed right away. You can see someone using the Wonder Waff at the bottom, the floggers going off, and a couple other things. And you may notice that there may be potentially some layout changes to the map, and we'll get into those in a little bit. But two other things I want to mention that I think actually are interesting is, first, we see what seems to be Jug right in the spawn room, and assuming the perks aren't random on this map, that is actually really weird, because if they're going to keep Numa the same way that it was in the original one and you spawn in the main hut, it's not really Treyarch like to have Jug so close. Normally you have to make your way to Jug, but for Jug to be one door away is just a little bit strange to me, and this makes me think that there's a possibility that we may not actually spawn in the main hut. We may spawn in somewhere else entirely, maybe a new area or one of the branches or something like that. And I think that would actually be a good thing for the feel of the game, because if we just spawn in the main hut, it's going to feel very much like the original Numa, and I think it would just it's not the biggest change in the world. It actually won't make that much of a difference, but just to change how you start out your game, I think would be nice for a remake of a map, just to make it feel a little bit different. But another thing I find interesting about this clip is that we actually see what seems to be some sort of bombardment streak being called on almost the entire map. Like, it's covering like multiple parts of it, and this could be just that they just called multiple of these streaks in for it to look good for the trailer, which is entirely possible. But maybe there's a possibility that that could actually be something for the Easter egg. I don't know, just thought I should mention that. Regardless though, let's get into the big part. So using that exact same overhead image of Numa, I thought we could get an idea of how they maybe have changed the layout of it, just at least from the hut area, by going and comparing it to the original Numa. And what I did would just go in no clip to kind of compare the two, and right away I noticed three main differences. And if you guys notice another one, go ahead and let me know. But as you guys see, we're the exact same angle, and I think the most obvious change is that this area over here that used to be closed off, it was the unplayable area that had nothing going on, has actually been open now. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they opened it, whether they made it an entirely new route, or what kind of looks like more to me that all they did was get this flogger route and then just open it up even more. What it seems like is that they just took down this bridge here, this fence here, and they just made the whole area a bit larger and changed the angle of the road. Now the road, instead of going straight to the hut and to this, it actually goes this way. And I imagine the hut will still be there at the end, but regardless, I think that that's what happened. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's rather we got a new route altogether, or they widened this one. One thing I will say about the route we did see, it doesn't look like the same area that we've seen the new pack punch to be at, so I don't know if that's the same area. Crossing our fingers, we have multiple new areas, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But returning to pretty much the same angle, two other things I noticed. One is that this bridge is gone, and I know this may not seem like an important thing because this is probably still going to be an unplayable area in the original Numa. You couldn't play here either, but it's interesting because this is the same place where you had the Tunguska thing written on the wall, so interesting. I don't know exactly why they would take that out, but it's what makes it even more interesting though is that we have another area that looks like it's still there and possibly even a playable area because there's a light at it. But if we go to the other side over here, we could see another bridge with the exact same layout, literally identical, but this one has a light at it and it's still there, and the only difference is this one doesn't have Tunguska. So I'm interested to see why one was removed, or appears to be removed, and the other one doesn't. But regardless, those are the main differences I could notice between the two versions of Numa. The next thing we see is a actually new reload animation for the Wonderwaff, and I think it looks really cool putting them one by one with those little vacuum tubes. It looks really cool, but the main reason I want to stop here is to look at this Pack Punch camo. It actually looks cooler than the images we got. Like, you can see that this blue thing is kind of moving around, and it's like moving on top of the red of camo thing, so it's like two camos on top of each other, kind of reactive. I think that looks really cool, so just thought I'd give it a little shout out. Now I want to stop at this frame, and it may not seem like something substantial, it's really not, but we can actually see on the floor there is some salvage. So if anybody was doubting that the salvage system wasn't going to be here, it seems like it is, and I imagine a lot of the same systems are going to continue into this. I imagine the perk system, the covenant system, and all that is still going to carry over into this, which this further seems to confirm. And for the final thing we see is actually an overhead, then a spiraling clip of this new area, which is most definitely new. No water here, just kind of like a really muddy area, definitely new. And I don't know if this is the same area that we saw in the previous images we got. It could be, but the only reason I question that is because that's where Pack Punch was, and we don't really see where Pack Punch is, and second, we don't really see this thing that the characters are actually protecting in game. As you guys can see behind them, they're standing at something that appears to be maybe an altar. I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to guess, this is probably something to do with the main Easter egg, and they're just like throwing a little hint in there like Treyarch likes to do every now and then. But regardless though, I think that's about everything that we've seen in these 6 seconds worth of footage. And you know, considering it is a remake, maybe it's good to get less footage of it, not spoil too much of the map, because it is a remake and we already know so much of the map. So maybe this is a good thing secretly, I don't know. Either way though, that's about it for this video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about here in this video. Are there things you're seeing this that you like, hate, or whatever it may be? Leave those thoughts down in the comment section below. But that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, whatever the heck it may be, and laters, guys.